Hello friends, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a fascinating story. A story about something we use every single day, but rarely think about, ... The beginning of the lamp. Have you ever wondered what the world would be like without any lamps at all? Just take a moment and imagine it. The sun dips below the horizon, the sky shifts from orange to deep indigo, and then, ... darkness. Every house, every street, every corner of your town is lit only by the faint, silvery glow of the moon and the distant twinkle of the stars. The night feels incredibly quiet, almost mysterious. Long ago, for thousands of years, this was reality. When night fell, the world plunged into darkness. Children had to go to sleep very early because there was nothing else to do. You couldn't play with your toys, you couldn't read your favorite book, and you certainly couldn't finish your homework. It was just ... completely dark. But humans are incredibly clever, aren't we? We've never been the type to just accept the darkness. We wanted to conquer it. So, people began a long and incredible journey to find a way to create our very own light. The very first light that humans controlled was fire. Can you imagine the moment our ancestors first learned to create and control a flame? Wow, it must have been magical. Fire was amazing. It provided warmth against the cold. It kept dangerous wild animals at bay. And most importantly, it brought precious light into the deep darkness of the night. People would gather around the crackling fire, telling stories, singing songs, and feeling a sense of community and safety. But fire had its problems. You couldn't just pick it up and carry it with you, and it was dangerous. A stray spark could easily lead to a devastating fire. So, human ingenuity kicked in again. The next step was the torch. Picture a sturdy wooden stick, with one end wrapped tightly in cloth. You'd dip that cloth into some kind of oil or animal fat, light it, and voila! You had a portable flame. You could carry it with you to light your way through the dark. It was a huge step forward. Following the torch, a more refined invention appeared. The oil lamp. This was a small, often beautifully crafted container filled with oil, with a little wick made of plant fiber sticking out. When the wick was lit, it would draw up the oil and sustain a soft, gentle flame. This light was steady enough to allow people to read, write, or work on crafts long after the sun had set. It was a quiet revolution happening in homes all over the world. And of course, we can't forget candles. Candles, often made from beeswax or rendered animal fat, were another popular source of light. When lit, they cast a beautiful, flickering glow that created a cozy atmosphere. People loved them for their simplicity. But candles had a downside to ... They melted and burned out pretty quickly, and they could be expensive to make or buy. Each of these inventions was a step forward, a small victory against the night. But the biggest dream was yet to come. Fast forward hundreds of years to a time of great invention and discovery. There was a brilliant and tireless inventor you've probably heard of. His name was Thomas Alva Edison. Edison had a massive, world-changing dream. He asked himself, what if there was a light that didn't burn out quickly like a candle? A light that didn't produce smoke like an oil lamp? And what if it was safe enough for everyone, even children, to use? That was an incredible vision, and Edison worked tirelessly to make it a reality. He and his team tried thousands upon thousands of different materials and designs. Imagine the frustration. They faced failure after failure. There were moments when they almost gave up, thinking it was an impossible task. But Edison's persistence was legendary. He never stopped believing in his dream. And then, one day, ding! Success! he finally found the right combination of materials to create the first practical, long-lasting, incandescent light bulb. It was a small glass bulb with a filament inside that could glow for hours and hours, powered by a new and exciting force called electricity. From that moment on, the world was never the same. The invention of the electric light bulb changed everything, forever. Electric lamps began to spread from Edison's laboratory to cities, towns, and eventually, remote villages all around the globe. Streets that were once dark and dangerous at night became bright and welcoming. Schools could stay open later, giving more people the chance to learn. Homes were filled with a clean, bright light. Factories and shops could operate at night, transforming the economy. It was as if humanity had been given a second sun, one that we could turn on whenever we wanted. Now, think about it, my friends. Today, turning on a light is one of the easiest things we can do. We walk into a room, flick a switch, click, and the entire space is instantly flooded with light. We do it without a second thought. But it's so important to remember the incredible journey that brought us this simple convenience. It was a very, very long road, from the discovery of fire to the invention of torches, the refinement of oil lamps, the creation of candles, and finally, to Edison's world-changing electric bulb. All of it was the result of human curiosity, creativity, and hard work. It came from people who refused to accept the darkness and never, ever stopped dreaming of a brighter world. So, the next time you flip a switch and your room lights up, maybe take just a tiny moment. Remember this long history and perhaps say a little thank you in your heart. A thank you to all the innovators, thinkers, and dreamers, from ancient times to the modern day, who worked so hard so that we could live our lives brightly and safely, even in the middle of the night. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through time today. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more amazing histories with me, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and we'd love to have you with us for the next adventure. See you soon.